This is DRF Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Race of the Day for Wednesday, March the 31st. Race number 7 at Oaklawn Park. Let's throw up the field for this optional claimer going 1 1/16 miles for fillies and mares. You can download free Formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. And Mike, the number 2, Matera, sold for $1.4 million as a yearling. And why not? She's a half-sister to Liam's Map. She's a half-sister to Not This Time. And even if she doesn't make another dime on the racetrack, she's worth her weight in gold as a broodmare prospect.
Yeah, well, we'll see if at least she can do something on the racetrack here, Dan. Very lightly raced to this point. There's a long layoff in there. So we'll just see if she can take a step forward here for a new trainer.
She is one of 2 entrants in here coming from Southern California with good tactical speed. Let's throw up the time form U.S. pace projector. Matera, the number 2, has speed. So does the 1, Brittle and You, who is stretching out for the first time, gets a cozy inside post for John Sadler, and has a little bit of a stamina pedigree.
Yeah, I think that's what you would want to see with Brittle and You in this race, is a position like that. She has the rail. She's stretching out for the first time. I think you want this horse to show some speed if you like her.
Brittle and You comes out of a decent starter optional at Santa Anita on January the 2nd. The runner-up of that race came back to run 3rd for 35 with a 66 buyer. She's shown a little bit of ability in her starts, Mike, but again, that tactical speed, I have a feeling she might try to wrest the lead away from Matera and take them all the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, Dan. I just feel like having the rail stretching out in this race, that they were going to send her and just try to wire this field and see, whether it works or not. She didn't run great last time, but I didn't think she ran that poorly either. I'm just wound up, I felt like anyway, in a lot of traffic throughout that race, like never really able to get to the outside into the clear, but she was racing on.
And I like the steady string of 5/8 of a mile workouts for John Sadler, who has had a good amount of success shipping horses from Southern California to Arkansas. Matera is the number 2. Again, she has that beautiful pedigree. She won her maiden in her 3rd lifetime start. Unfortunately, something must have happened. She went to the sidelines for a very long time, over a year. She came back in a tough 2-turn spot, a race that produced 2 next out winners. The winner coming back to win 2 in a row to complete a 5-race win streak. I think it's a good sign that she's here for Brad Cox, Mike, because, again, you could retire her and it's perfectly fine. With her pedigree, she's very valuable.
Yeah, that awful long layoff the last time we saw her. And then she raced very wide in that race. And it was also a save for the runner-up, who actually ran really well and was on the lead. All closers in there. 1st, 3rd, 4th. All the horses that filled that race, how to save the run-up, they all came from way out of it. And this horse was very wide in there. She'll run better in here. I guess the real question is, Dan, considering you don't know how good she is, what kind of price do you want on her? You're taking a short price here as she switches to Brad Cox.
Absolutely correct. Here's the formulator fact for Cox. Anything Brad Cox puts out onto the track is going to take money, especially with a filly like this. Cox is 5 for the last 10 with first off the trainer switch, dirt route, 2 to 4 month layoff, 466 ROI. You know what you're getting, a short price with Matera, a big pedigree. Maybe she can run well from close to the pace. But I have to be honest with you, I agree with what you say, Mike. Not sure I want a terribly short price. Summer Storm is stepping up in class. Let's watch Summer Storm's win off of a fairly lengthy layoff last time out. They dropped her in for 35. She showed good speed going 3/4 of a mile, Mike, and she just kept right on rolling. Only a 69 buyer, however, and now she has to do it around 2 turns.
Yeah, pretty good effort here off the long layoff. Wins this race very easily after getting control early on. A little bit of a different pace scenario, it seems like this time, so maybe that'll be tougher for her. So far, they've been very reluctant to stretch this horse out there, and that worries me a little bit.
If the pace heats up, it's really going to help the number 4, Auction Fever, who was claimed 3 starts back and coming off a short layoff has now popped 2 very competitive buyer speed figures. She doesn't have early speed. Let's watch her last race. A sloppy track effort going a 2-turn mile, fell far behind as usual, tries to come widest into the stretch, and just has too much work to do against a good field.
Yeah, it was a good field. She also faced a good field 2 back, sort of a carbon copy of 2 races here off the layoff, Dan. They just take her back and they try to rally at the end. She hasn't made it, all that close either time, but she's run fine in both of those races. We'll see if she gets a setup in here.
And the runner-up from that last race came back to run second again with an 86 Beyer speed figure. Sunset Paula Joe's another horse that's going to be tested stretching out in distance, but trainer Kelly Von Hemel has very good numbers with horses moving from sprint to route, and this one is going second off of a little bit of a layoff. Personally, I thought they let her run around the track in her first start back, a little bit of a fitness builder for her, Mike. She was entered for the waiver that day. They didn't want to lose her, and she was just sort of one pace. She sat inside behind horses and finished up evenly. I think she can do better second off the layoff.
Yeah, I think she can too. She certainly has the back races to prove that. Another horse, they've never really tried to go long with this horse, Dan. So I wonder how she'll handle the added ground in this race. She had that 3-race winning streak. You have to go all the way back to 2018, with that, Belterra, Thistle circuit around there. She won 3 in a row. And since then, it's won for, forever since then. It just feels like she doesn't win that often. That concerned me.
I think the key to this race is the 6 Shakadelic, because Shakadelic likes to be close to the pace. And if she goes out there and pushes the 3 inside horses, this sets things up for the closers. She is in very good form right now. Let's watch Shakadelic's most recent start. She sat just off the pace in this $50,000 starter allowance. She has taken over the lead, and she's going to pull off a 14-1 upset. She is in pretty good form right now, Mike. And again, the question is, can she sit off of maybe a 3-ply duel and get it done? She usually likes to be first or second in her races.
Yeah, I mean, she did track the pace in here, took over and held her advantage to the wire. She did take a step forward in there. Her first start off the layoff in January in a tougher race, to be sure. She did not run well at all after making the lead. But listen, the clash relief helped her last time. She got the right trip and she ran in a much improved race. She's still in that position, Dan, where, we've seen enough of her now. Still hasn't really broken through with that fast race, has not Beyered above 70 yet, and she probably will have to beat this field.
I'm not going to hold the 7 Dutch Treats last race against her. It was her first start of the year. They ran her 3/4 of a mile, which is just too short for her, and she didn't do much running in that race. Full of decent Arkansas bred stakes horses. The 3rd horse coming back to beat Arkansas breds and an optional claimer with a 70 Beyer. She has one going sprint to route in the past, and is another horse with some back fast races that make her interesting, especially if this pace heats up.
I agree. And she's shown, what I like about her is she could be, I guess, a little bit cheap, Dan. Her last win on dirt was against 3 life claimers, but I just like that she's versatile. She's won on the lead before. She's won from way off of it. She's won from a stalking position as well. So it just feels like they can do whatever they want. If this pace gets fast, they'll take her back. And if it's slow, she'll be a little closer.
The 8 Tonal Vision, tough outside post here, but again, if the pace heats up, that would work to her benefit. We saw her in that replay with Shakadelic completing the exacta. It was her first start off of the claim, 4th start off a little bit of a layoff. Again, I think it's all pace dependent with her.
Yeah, she's going to need a trip from the outside poster. I thought she ran fine last time. Just kept on very gamely, could never catch Shakadelic, but she tried all the way down to the wire. I thought she ran pretty well in there. She's got some back races that actually could make her pretty tough in here if she gets the right trip.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Wednesday DRF race of the day. You're hoping for Speed in the Rail from the SoCal Invader, Brittle and You.
Yeah, I just want them to put her on the lead here and see how far she can take this field on the lead.
Like you, I want to try to get a little bit of a price in here. I do have questions concerning what sort of trip the closer Auction Fever is going to get. I just don't like her running style. And Matera, there are a lot of questions considering her short price. Maybe Sunset Paula Joe stretching out second off the layoff. I think that last race was a good fitness builder. She's bound to be a nice price in here. 5-4-3-1 for me, 1-8-4-2 for Mike for the Wednesday race of the day. It is race number 7 at Oaklawn. Best of luck.